Taylor here with Agri Drones. Today we are doing a full live demo of a very, very exciting drone for the US market, the EAVision J100. This is the first year here in the US market for this drone, and it brings some amazing things to the table. So we're going to show you guys a live demo of it spraying a big field down here in the Missouri River bottoms. We're going to unfold the drone, we're going to throw a battery in, we're going to show you guys on the software, we're going to show you acres per hour, battery charging, exactly how we would do this in the field as if we were actually spraying. All right, let's get to it. Alex, my pilot today, he's going to go ahead and unfold the drone. It is a quadcopter, so it has 4 arms and 1 motor on each arm. This is different than the DJI system where you have a quad stacked or dual stacked motors. These use really, really big motors. This is the biggest motor that is currently on any drone that is operating right now in the US. 4 arms, 4 motors, ESCs mounted on top for quick heat dissipation. This this drone has over a 2-to-1 thrust to weight ratio with a full 45-liter tank in it. All right, here's the battery, and the battery is a blade-like structure. So each one of these is a different cell on the battery, separated by pockets where air can pass through, meaning battery cooling is really, really efficient. We also have 2 different terminals on either side, positive on one, negative on the other. What this allows the drone to do is have more efficient transfer of power. And if you spill water on your terminals, doesn't matter because your positive and negatives are separated, so you're not going to short across. All right, we're gonna do a quick boot up here. So we just flew this drone just prior to this video here, and it's gonna boot up extremely fast. Alex will turn on his screen recording here. Because we have an internal battery right underneath this hood right here. This internal battery stores all the information, keeps the drone actually powered on, everything except for the motors, for 10 minutes. That means you can see live tank volume, you can change all your settings on the drone, you can do everything you need to do besides fly it without that battery in there. All right, Alex is getting the field pulled up here. We've got our field selected. He's got, go back to your parameters there. So there you see he selected a template. That's our 2 gallon per acre template. We're gonna select our droplet size. Your droplets are, so just like a lot of other drones, we have rotary atomizers. These are really, really heavy duty rotary atomizers on this drone, aluminum housing, and high speed that can go anywhere from 10 to 300 microns. All right. So there's all your parameters, very similar to many other drones. We do have separated entry and exit speeds, heights, and terrain following. You can terrain follow on your entry and exit with this drone. All right, now on to routes selection. We can select our route spacing, our angle. We can fly any direction we want. We can actually do multiple different directions in the same field. We can select one point. We want the drone to go in and out of the field. This big open area right here, we're just gonna go straight to the start point. So we're gonna uncheck that. And then we want to turn off the spray on the corners. So it's just gonna spray down, turn it off, and then turn around and come back. And that's it. So just as simple as that. You can see we have satellite imagery on the remote right now. Now we don't have Wi-Fi on the remote, but this satellite imagery actually downloads prior, when we have Wi-Fi in the office, we make the map, we download the satellite imagery, and it saves on here so we can operate without any network connection at all. We good, Alex?
Yep, we're good.
All right. Alex, you can go ahead and take off. The drone's gonna do a self-check. Check the ESCs, check the motors, check the spray system, make sure everything's good to go. Slide the takeoff. This is all autonomous flight right now. From the moment Alex slid to the right to take off, the drone took off autonomously. It's going out to the start point autonomously. It's gonna hit that start point. It's gonna get to that, the correct height that Alex set, then it's gonna start spraying. There it goes. So we're spraying right now at 10 meters per second or 32.8 feet per second. This is full speed on the J100 with all of the obstacle avoidance and terrain following turned on. So you can climb hills, you can fly over trees, you can do everything that this drone can do with the LiDAR terrain following obstacle avoidance at 32.8 feet per second or 10 meters per second. So there you see we've got our rotor wash happening right now. I do have a lot of breeze today, so we probably would not be spraying on a day like today with any spray drone for that matter. But if we wanted to, we could change our droplet size, we could add in an adjuvant and counteract this as well. But just like every other drone, the rotor wash coming off of the props is going to push that product down. It's also going to create a vortex. It's called a prop wash vortex, meaning we have a lot of air coming through the props. That air is going to go down. It's also going to spread out, and then it's going to rotate that air back up through the props. And that air is not just keeping the drone aloft and flying. That air is also pushing our particles and pushing our droplets out. So this drone is going to create a swath width of up to 36 feet. That's 11 meters, 36 feet. And of course, if you fly slower, you fly lower, you narrow your swath width. On a big field like this, we're going to fly as fast as we can. This drone can actually fly on this field here. We can fly up to 45 feet per second, which is about 30 miles per hour, or about 13.8 meters per second. Now you have to do some things, turn off some of your terrain following obstacle avoidance, but on a field like this where you have a big wide open field, you can fly extremely fast and create a wider swath. But of course, if we wanted to go down to a narrower swath, if we were doing a smaller field where we wanted to have really precise control, then we could do that as well. So I mentioned LiDAR just a bit ago. So there are 2 LiDAR units on this drone. Now this is a really, really unique thing with EAVision and with spray drones just in general, is terrain following obstacle avoidance is really important on an autonomous drone because we are relying on this drone to autonomously keep that height that we set and to navigate around obstacles. Every other drone on the market does this right now with radar, with omnidirectional radar that spins around in circles, that bounces off of surfaces and then gets that information back to the radar. This drone here does it on LiDAR. So LiDAR means it's light. So any surface reflects light that a LiDAR can pick up. And a LiDAR can see much further and in much more detail. So 2 LiDAR units, one facing forward and one facing downward. That's going to do your terrain following and your obstacle avoidance. LiDAR is not affected by fog. It is not affected by dust or debris. It is not affected by sunlight or glare. It's not affected by whether it is night or day or crop type. It is not affected by anything like that. Not only that, but we can see in much more detail, meaning tree branches. The Achilles heel of drones, as far as obstacles, is always thin tree branches, power lines, phone lines, really small things like that, center pivots like in this field here. That is the Achilles heel for obstacle avoidance on drones. And with LiDAR on the J100, that is a non-issue. We've tested this thoroughly. The J100 is the only spray drone that on our first day of testing it, we flew it directly at a tree line just to see what it would do. We've never done that with any other spray drone on the market yet. All right, so I'm gonna go back to Alex here. We're gonna take a look at the screen so you guys can see what exactly he's looking at right now as an operator, what you would do in the field if you were operating this drone.
Yep, so basically our drone just ran out of solution. Now it's on its way home.
As you can see on the screen here, we've got an empty tank icon. And you can see that as soon as the drone starts flying, it knows how much product is in the tank. It has scales on the tank that read the live weight and tells you how much payload we have. There on the upper right-hand corner, you can see we have 2% or 0.2 gallons left, so our tank is empty. But it actually shows us that we're going to run out. And we did a down, back, down, a little bit back, and ran out. We knew that prior to even starting our spray operation. So it hit that point there, got empty, and now it's coming back autonomously. And there it shows you on the screen exactly what it covered. It paints those lines on the screen for you so you know what's been done and where it's going to go back to. This is autonomous flight on a return to home. It's going to get home, return to the same position that it was whenever it took off. It's going to come down and hover, and then Alex gave it the landing, put the landing button on, and so now it's going to come down and land autonomously. We're going to go ahead and grab a fresh battery. So that was a full tank spray out, 45 liters. We came back with 57% battery left, meaning we could do one more flight, but it's always best to change your battery every time whenever you're below 60%, just for redundancy purposes. So you can fill the tank and swap the battery all at the same time with one person. These batteries don't have clips. They actually pressure fit onto our terminals. And the EAVision can do this because we have terminals on either side, meaning it spreads that weight of the battery over the terminals evenly. So you can see the battery is still booting up, but we actually have a live tank readout right now. And we have this even with the battery out of here. This is a really, really unique feature on the EAVision J100. You know, with a DJI drone or XAG drone, you don't know how much is in the tank unless that battery is in the drone and booted up. Meaning if you only need 8 gallons, let's just say, and you want to make sure you get exactly 8 gallons, you have to put the battery in there, boot it up, wait 30 seconds, and then fill the tank. Here we can do that all at the same time without ever losing any information on the screen. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and have Alex start this thing back up, and then we'll put this battery back on the charger. So he's just going to hit continue and take off just like last time. We're going to throw this battery back on the charger. This is the charging box here. It's a charger and cooler all in one. As soon as we get that on there, it's going to go ahead and test this battery and then start charging it immediately. Now normally we would have this operating on the ground like this. That way it's a lot easier to go in and out with this, but because we're operating on sand here, and it's a bit of a sandy field, the drone's blowing that sand towards the charger, we put this back in the back of the truck so we don't get sand inside the charger. This is hooked up to a 9500 running watt generator that's mounted on that opposite side of our RoadRunner unit here. With this generator and this charger, this battery should be almost all the way charged or all the way charged by the time the J100 makes it back to us. Now, I'm going to point out something here real quick. Alex, where'd this drone go back to?
So basically where it landed off, it has a smart continue spraying function where it decided it was quicker to go to a different path to start spraying. And then at the end, it will catch up that little piece that it left off.
Right. So we stopped spraying on the far side of the field, and then so it jumped over to the next path and it's spraying down towards where it stopped at.
Correct.
Yeah, basically to reduce battery usage, you know, flight time is incredibly important with any spray drone. You know, you have really less than 10 minutes once you're in the air with a full tank like this to get that tank sprayed off and get back here. That's not just for battery usage, that's also for efficiency. The quicker you can start spraying, the more acres you get done. So J100 has a smart return feature where if it stops on the very far side of the field, this is a half-mile long field here, if it stops on the very far side of the field, it's going to start on the close side of the field on that next pass. And there you see it just got down to that next, or where it stopped at. The sprayer system shut off because it knew it had reached that point where it already covered. Now it's coming over to this next pass right there, turning around, and it's going to start on that end and spray back to us. So while the drone's operating, we can see everything on the bottom of the screen, our height, our speed, how far away it is from us, our flow rate, how much is remaining in the field, how much is remaining in the tank. There you see we have our empty tank icon. So it's going to go down to us, back, and then back a little bit and then run out. We've got our battery life on the remote. This remote has about an 8-hour battery life. You can charge it while you're using it. There's no external battery, there's just a really big internal battery. So this remote will operate continuously throughout this entire field. This is a big field here. And then as we move to our next field, we're gonna go ahead and plug this thing in. We can charge it from field to field or charge it in the field while we're in use.
Yeah, and the other day we did test it. We did get a little over about 8.5 hours.
8.5 hours.
Battery.
You ran continuously for 8.5 hours.
We never shut off the remote. We just left it on for 8.5 hours before.
With the screen on the whole time?
Screen on the whole time. Yep.
Perfect. Yep. Also on the bottom here, we've got our live FPV camera. So this camera is on a gimbal. You can see it's actually tilting up and down as it goes. Now this is a feature that the J100 has. It's actually recording live FPV footage like a dash cam. So everything the drone sees right now is recorded and saved on the hard drive on this remote. That way if there's any issue, if you have a sprayer issue or it sees an obstacle that it can't navigate around, whatever, it crashes, doesn't matter. If there's an issue, not only do you have the flight log, the actual black box data, but you also have the live FPV recording, and it's panning up and down. That way, if it sees an obstacle down below it, it pans down, so you capture that. It pans up, so you capture that if it sees an obstacle ahead of it. Really, really cool feature on the J100 that no other drone does. You can, of course, control this gimbal yourself if you want to for spot spraying or just to see, whatever it is you want to see. That camera does also do orthomosaic mapping, where the drone will fly up in the air 90 feet. It'll actually take pictures, and then the remote will stitch those pictures together to make one big image file or a TIFF file. They call it like a Mavic drone does. While Alex is finishing up on this field here, waiting for the drone to get back to us, I'm going to show you guys our RoadRunner. So this isn't just for demo. We actually use this system in the field. Now in a big field like this, we're probably going to use our larger trailer unit. But if you've got pastures, if you've got small fields, or even big fields like this, you can use a RoadRunner. The RoadRunner is perfect for those situations where it's hard to get back to the back of a pasture or back to the back of a small field. Has a 200-gallon tank, has room for a generator on the opposite side. We have a fresh water tank on top for rinsing our hands, hosing off the drone. We have 2 separate hose reels, one for our chemical we have mixed up in our 200-gallon tank, and one for our fresh water or clean water with 2 separate pump systems, meaning our fresh water and clean water stays clean, and our pump system with our chemical, that stays just for chemical. We have about a 50-foot hose reel on both of these, so we can pull the drone or the hose out 50 feet anywhere on the passenger side or behind the truck. We have power running into our box, so all of our batteries can be stored inside of our operation box here. We also have our pumps on and off right there. And then we have room for the drone in the back of the truck. All right, here's our J100. I don't know if you guys just heard that. Our generator just lugged. That means the battery that is in the charger right now is done charging and the J100 is back to us. So we're gonna put the same battery we put in there the first time back in there. That's the same battery that we used the first time. It's gonna go back in the J100 the second time. Literally a 1-to-1 flight to charge ratio. Very few spray drones do this. That was perfect.
Yeah, I've been very impressed on the charging speed of the battery. We flew it all day the last couple days. Batteries have been keeping up very good. A few times we've supplemented a third battery, but the battery was done charging within 30 seconds after we were done.
Yeah. So with 3 batteries and 1 charger, you can operate all day long, you would say, Alex?
I would say yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
And this is, the cool thing about this is a 9,500 running watt generator. A lot of other charging systems, they're gonna recommend at least a 12,000 running watt generator. And certainly that's probably what I would use here if you were running a pump or anything, but we're running our pump and our charger all off of a 9,500 running watt generator under $1,000 on Amazon. That's crazy. I'll throw this one back on there. One thing to note here, so we do have two terminals. One's positive, one's negative. Here's our negative, here's our positive. So what happens if you accidentally turn this around and try to put the positive on the negative side? The battery does go down, but it does not actually go all the way down onto the terminals. It's offset a little bit. So even if you try to do this, you can't screw it up.
We did a little bit of this test yesterday, but it's kind of doing the same scenario here. So basically we're simulating a almost half a mile out deadhead, fully loaded. And we're gonna continue spraying. So far what we've seen, the drone has been able to go a half mile out, fully loaded, continue spray out the entire tank and come all the way back with still a little over 30% battery.
Yeah.
So very impressed on that.
Yeah.
So longer ferrying times and stuff like that should be a lot better with the EA J100 versus the DJI platform.
Yeah. So because the EA only has 4 props instead of 8, 4 motors instead of 8, 4 ESCs instead of 8, our actual thrust from each prop is much more effective. We don't have that turbulence from our counter-rotating blades, meaning that our flight time, our flight efficiency, our power use efficiency is more effective on the J100 than like the DJI T50 is, for example. Not just that, maneuverability is awesome on this drone too. The turning on the corners is faster. The manual flight is much more agile.
It's very agile, very precise.
Yeah. All right, what else didn't I cover yet, Alex?
I think you about got most of it. Like I said, we've been testing it the last few days. Everything on it has been an awesome machine. The LiDAR is phenomenal. As you can see in this field, it is a very flat field. But on the remote, we basically kind of have a side view of the LiDAR that shows the terrain following and flight paths over here. You'll see on a very flat field, this drone is still doing terrain following. You can see minor adjustments. And it's not laggy or anything like that, kind of like what we see on the DJI products where it jumps or bunny hops or starts bucking back and forth. This drone is looking 300 feet ahead and automatically planning its flight path. It's very smooth transitions.
There you go, that was it right there. That small hump in the field, it just went up and over.
That was basically a little 6-inch hump in the field, and it could realize that, and it raised the drone.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with the LiDAR system.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, the J100 performs exactly as we expected it to. EAVision thought of about 50 different things to make this drone more efficient, easier to operate, easier to fix if something happens, more simple, just a very, very well-rounded drone. And not only that, but it fits right behind a RoadRunner perfectly. So big jobs, small jobs, maneuverability, it's really the all-around drone.
You bet. I think it's an awesome product. I'm excited to see where this product goes.
Cool. All right, guys, that's it. This really is the job. I mean, we could keep the video going for another half hour, but you're just gonna see us swapping batteries, taking off, swapping batteries, taking off. It's very, very simple. We'll bring you guys a lot more videos showing you guys the capabilities this drone has in terrain following, obstacle avoidance, mapping, and everything else. See ya.